I do a lot of simulated three-dimensional work in my logos and cartoons, but I don't need complicated software to do the small jobs. In fact, I use nothing more than Logo Design Studio Pro to manipulate most of my logos and cartoons. I don't want to turn this into a commercial for Logo Design Studio Pro, but it is readily available and it's inexpensive. I paid less than $50 for it, and I recommend it for anyone serious about adding 3D to their art. What makes Logo Design Studio Pro so helpful, among its many other attributes, is that I can plug in drawings and shapes created elsewhere for manipulation. To show how this simple 3D art works for me, let's start with a simple figure from my gingerbread buns collection. This comical notion portrays gingerbread people from the backside as if they were baked face down with their buns showing. I sell a lot of these through my stores because I don't restrict the idea of gingerbread people to Christmas. This drawing is a witch made for Halloween. But as we can see, the humor doesn't really stand out in 2 dimensions. So let's try to make those buns really stand out. This software does all the work, adding the 3D effect, but we have to tell it how much and how smooth to make it. Take note that when I created this drawing, I saved it as a PNG image with a transparent background so the software could find the edges of the character. This software begins applying the 3D effect starting at the outer edge of the visible picture and works its way inward. If I had saved this as a JPG with a background, even if it was just a white background, the 3D effect would have begun on the outermost area of the picture, placing a bevel similar to a picture frame on the image. Well, I'll be darned, it still doesn't look quite right, does it? That's because the 3D effect worked its way in from the outside and couldn't reach the center of the hat brim or the centers of the buns. Got any ideas how to solve this? I do, but it's a little bit more work. To get shadows and reflections where we need them, let's try breaking the gingerbread person into parts. Let's not go crazy trying to do too much detail though. Dividing it into just 3 parts will do. First, we can work on the head and torso like this. Now let's add the 3D effect to the body. Remember, we want this to look like a gingerbread cookie. So let's not push the 3D effect too far into the figure. Keep it nicely rounded on the outer edges, like a cookie would be. Now we add the legs separately. Even though they are still in 2-dimensional form, we can already see what is happening. By drawing and dimensioning the torso separately before the legs were added, the buns have taken on their own shadow and shape, making them stand out more. To finish the gingerbread body, we can now add 3 dimensions to just the legs. We can do this easily when we use layers to individually create and manipulate parts of our drawing. I talk about image layering a lot in other how-to videos I have made and placed here on YouTube. Oh, I nearly forgot. We don't want to forget the witch's hat or it just wouldn't be a Halloween theme. And now we can put the finishing touches on this by adding 3 dimensions to the hat. In its completed form, we can see that breaking the drawing into parts as we have done created overall better detail on the gingerbread witch, particularly on her hat brim and buns. I just gave you the long-winded version of this gingerbread buns demo, but let's take a look at one more example of building a 3-dimension image from individual parts. I still have 25 cents in my pocket, so let's draw a quarter. Since you already know most of the drill, this will go a little faster. Whatever you do, please don't grade me on the grayscales I'm using, the amount of shading and reflection, or the fact that there will be no lettering on this quarter. I promised you fast, and I just wanted to show you one more example of how layering each of the individual components offers better control over the project. Notice here too that the 3D is available in different forms. For the edge of this coin, I was able to raise only the edge. For Washington's face on the coin, the features are raised in their entirety. When you get the hang of this 3D stuff, you can try something really different. Try applying both 2-dimensional shading and 3D effect to the same image. I won't launch into that here because I already have separate YouTube videos covering each of those. But if you want to see what it looks like, visit my website at www.creativequickies.com and check out the skull and crossbones on my homepage banner. It was manipulated in both dimensions. This is Clarence. Use your software wisely, happy cartooning, and thanks for dropping in.